Hi there, my name is Nobu Kumalo. If it's your first time here, welcome to my channel. I hope you subscribe and I hope you stay. And if you're coming back, thank you so much for your continued support and I hope you're already subscribed. I always say that on this channel we're all about learning and growing together and empowering each other to be the best version of ourselves. And so about a week or so ago, I shot a video in which I detailed a time in my life when I was just finishing up my articles or training contract as you would have it in the UK. And I went from a point of not having a job for the future to a point where I got a massive job offer, which was bigger and better than I could have ever expected. After that, a lot of you came in my comments and said this came at a time when you needed that encouragement that things will be okay. In sharing that story, I did detail about the time frame in which things happened and how God showed up for me. But an important part that I didn't quite share about is that I had to make sure that I was always prepared for the opportunity that was meant for me to find me. And so this video is about hopefully helping you stay ready, stay prepared, so that when an opportunity comes knocking on your door, you have all the tools that you need. So I'd like to share 5 things that I did during the time when I was searching for a job that I believe helped me land a job at a Magic Circle firm at the level that I'm at and at the earnings that I currently have. So number 1, keep your LinkedIn profile updated. I know how LinkedIn can sometimes be very demotivating when you go in there and you see how your peers are doing so great and doing big things and you feel like you're stuck in your life. But the flip side of that is that LinkedIn is being used by quite a lot of big organizations to hire. And so you typically have recruiters who scout around LinkedIn and they look at one's profile and see the type of work that they've been involved in, the firms or the companies that they've worked for, and that is what they use as the base to reach out to you. So how do you keep your LinkedIn profile updated? So number 1, obviously you need to make sure that you're always reflecting the positions that you're holding at any given time. Whatever it is that you've done in the past, make sure that it's on LinkedIn. Make sure that it's also updated for your current role so that they actually know the work that you're actively working on. And bigger than that, make sure that in the descriptions of the roles that you're in, you're putting in skills that will get you noticed. So go to the jobs section of LinkedIn, look at the kind of jobs that you want to apply for, look at the skills that are listed in the job descriptions, and then make sure that you go and add those skills to your skills section in LinkedIn, such that when recruiters are looking for people who match the skills of the job advertised, it will be easy for them to pick up your profile because it matches that. Sometimes recruiters also use automated systems that will sort of scan through automatically to find candidates that have those type of skills listed on their profiles. The second thing, keep an updated CV. Gone are the days where a CV could be 5-6 pages long and you had to detail everything that you've ever done in your professional life. Now, recruiters or hiring managers or even the automated systems that are used these days to scan through CVs will typically look at a CV that is only 2 to 3 pages long if you're pushing it. So you want to make sure that your CV is short, straight to the point, but very relevant for the role. So you need to tailor the CV that you're going to submit for a specific role to match up with the job description that has been advertised and generally to match up with the type of skills that you think you'd be expected to have for that position. Make sure that your CV has your academic qualifications depending on the level at which you're in your career. The higher up you go, the less your academic record matters. But if you're still at a junior level, you want to make sure that it's there. And it's not everything, just I would say your university academic qualification should be on there and the grade that you achieved. So if you got a cum laude or distinction, make sure that it's there. Obviously, your CV has to have all your contact details, so your email and your cell phone number. And then starting from your most recent position that you've held, if you're currently working, that would be your current position. State about 2 or 3 things in that role that you have done that match or will show that you have the skills to do the job that is being advertised. So you really have to tailor each CV and pick out the skills that you think would be relevant to that job. So for every role that you've had, rather for every project that you've worked on, just keep it to about 2 to 3 short bullet points and make sure that in those bullet points you are using active words. So you're using words that show the input that you actually put and the result of it. So I'll give you an example. So you would say something like helped in drafting document ABCD, which led to a faster due diligence process. So you're showing the action that you took and how it affected the end goal or the end result in a positive way. Make sure also that you only list roles that are relevant to the role that you're applying for. So at the stage that I was applying, it wasn't relevant for me to write about maybe the fact that at some point I used to sell Herbalife, because it wasn't relevant to the job that I was applying for, which is that of a legal associate. Then number 3, make sure you really study the company that you're applying at. So go to their website, read everything that they're about. You need to know what the firm or the company actually does, not just the role that you'll be expected to fulfill, but the sector that the company operates in, and generally the product offering that they have on the market. And also look at the things like their vision and their mission and their goals and their values and all those things. This will help you in the interview in that you'll be able to ask intelligent questions, for example. So one of the questions that you would ask is, I see that your value is equal opportunities and you are championing diversity and inclusion. Can you tell me how you're actively doing that at your firm? That shows that you have interest in the company, that shows that you understand what the company is about, and that shows that you actually care about the bigger things. This also helps you in that you won't go in there and start asking questions that have obvious answers because they are already on the on the website. So you can't go into an interview and be asking them, so how many offices do you guys have across the world, when it's right there on the website? Because that shows or reflects on you that you didn't really take the time, or you didn't care, or you couldn't care less, to put in the work that is required to make sure that you're very ready for the interview. Number 4, be likable. Have a personality. You need to be able to stand out. You're going to receive so many CVs that on paper look the same, but it's about how you present yourself when you get there. That matters a lot. So can you build rapport with people? Can you build connections? Do you find it easy to connect with people? And I know this can be difficult because in an interview, typically you're very anxious and you're nervous, especially if it's going to be a technical interview. You're not sure what to expect, and of course nerves can get in the way. But just try to be a person who keeps a positive attitude, who smiles, who speaks confidently, and someone who just embodies the role that they're applying for, and shows that I'm here, I'm eager to have the conversation, and I'm excited and I'm grateful for the time that you've given me. And also usually you'll have them ask you to tell them about yourself. Have something interesting about you that kind of links to the job. For example, the first time I ever applied for the job, it was still for a legal internship, but at a commercial firm. I brought in the fact that I used to, in high school, I used to sell samosas, and that later on I used to buy clothes in South Africa and send them home to Zimbabwe to sell. And that was important because it helped show that I've always had a commercial mindset, and that me coming now to work for a commercial firm is an entire full circle moment, because this is something, business and commerce is something that has always been a part of my life, and I can't wait to step fully into it. So make sure that you have something interesting about yourself that is going to be memorable. This is not to say make up lies and start making up stories about things that you've never been involved in, because again, you do not want to be caught out on a lie. But just prepare for the interview and think deeply about what is it that makes me unique, and what is it that would make someone want to hire me and be part of their team. And then finally, make sure when you get the interview invite, you ask who is going to be interviewing you. This is so that you take your time before the interview to do some research on the people who are interviewing you. And this is very important. It's important because you're going to have a chance to ask questions. And if you've researched the people that are interviewing you, this is a great chance to show interest in them. So you typically ask them questions like, I see you've moved from role A to role B. How has the transition been? Or, I see you've been at this firm for about 10 to 15 years. Why haven't you left when everyone has left? Or you were at this firm and then you recently joined this firm. What is it that attracted you to the firm? And why it's important to ask those questions that are targeted at the interviewer is that as human beings, we genuinely like talking about ourselves. So give someone a chance to speak about how great and amazing they are and skilled and all that. They are going to go at it, and they're going to flourish, and they're going to speak and speak and speak. And when they're speaking about themselves and you show a lot of interest in them, people like people who make them feel good about themselves. So if you know your interviewer and you have intelligent questions to ask them, it's a very, very good way to build rapport. And you find a lot of the time, because they're talking about themselves, they're not so cognizant of time. And before you know it, the 30 minutes or the hour of the interview is over, and you haven't really had to go through all the difficult, and awkward silences. So in summary, Remember, I said make sure you update your LinkedIn profile. Make sure you tidy up and update your CV. Make sure you know the company inside out in terms of what it does, its values, and its goals. Number 4, make sure you're memorable. Make sure you know your story and that you make your story stand out. And lastly, make sure you know your interviewers and get them talking about themselves. I hope this was helpful. And if you're in a space where you feel like the sun will never shine again, if you're in a space where you feel like, will I ever get a breakthrough, trust and believe that it's going to come. But you absolutely need to make sure that you stay ready so you don't have to get ready. When opportunity meets preparation, it's just fireworks and you never know how that could go. So I hope these tips are helpful and I hope you implement them. And I can't wait to hear all your stories about how you smashed those interviews and how you landed your next big role. Thank you for watching. If you found this very helpful, please do share with anyone you know. Please like, please subscribe as always. I'll see you guys again next time. Goodbye.